Hello and welcome to my review of the Orks Mozrog Skragbad model for Warhammer 40,000 from Games Workshop, otherwise known as the Great White Squig. This model will cost you £31.50. and it was a pleasant surprise. I was expecting £34 or £36, so that was great when the price was announced. As of the 23rd of October, which is when I'm recording this video, the model is out of stock, which I can only assume means that it's a very popular model, or they underestimated just how many they were going to sell, and they didn't produce enough. Whatever the reason, it's quite difficult to get hold of right now in Orktober. It's a multi-part plastic kit comprised of 43 components. You can build the Beast Stag Orks character Mozrog Skragbad and his Squigosaur, Big Chomper, or you can assemble the kit as a Beast Boss on Squigosaur. It was so nice, I bought him twice, and that was mainly to give you a look at the Beast Boss on Squigosaur. There's enough differences between both of the models that I would strongly suggest you get both. I can wholeheartedly suggest that you pick up both, and if you use my Element Games affiliate link down in the description below, every time you purchase from Element Games you will receive a discount, and if you use the crystal code as well at the checkout, you're going to net yourself double the number of crystals, which you can use later on to spend on even more orcs, and it's the best way of supporting this channel. So the format of this review is as follows. We're going to have a look at Mozrog close up. I'll talk about the builds, talk about the issues, the detail. Then I will go through the spare parts, of which there aren't too many. Pretty much just consists of the spare parts that you would have built the Beast Boss with. I'll go through some size comparisons, and then I'll go through his juicy rules. They are juicy, it's fantastic. I can't wait for that part of the review. So let's have a close look at Mozrog. He's right here. So he's on this Big Chomper Squigosaur. The full left leg is replaced, it's a bionic leg, and that is the same as the Beast Boss on Squigosaur. The big difference though is this engine and exhaust system jutting out of him. Another big difference is the head. It's kind of facing down a little bit. The neck section is different on both of them, but the face is the same. So you're going to have the same spittle or drool popping out of the face as the other one, and the same leg pose. Another thing that's the same is the legs, sort of like the lower part of the Beast Boss, you know, the Mozrog, but everything else is changed after that. So Mozrog has this big full bionic arm and half a bionic skull. I think they used to call it like an adamantium skull. He's got this predator style like claw. He's got a snake bite motif at the back. The thump gun is attached on this mount that's kind of built into Big Chomper. And of course the Beast Boss and Squigosaur has that Beast Chopper and Slugger pistol. We'll have a look at the comparisons in a moment. Building this model was a joy. It went together very nicely. I'm always skeptical about gaps and things. You just have to be mindful of some of the gaps. Use your sort of thicker Games Workshop or Revel glue in conjunction with the Tamiya. Once it's put together, put some Tamiya over, and that should join the gaps. If not, do what I've done there and use some liquid green stuff all around the neck, because the last thing you want is some gaping gaps there. But you probably would get gaps around the face area and this neck, but everywhere else it's business as usual. So there you go, that is Mozrog. Let's have a look at the spare parts before I go through some size comparisons. So these are the spare parts right here. You've got the different kind of body sections for him, which would be for the Beast Boss on Squigosaur. That goes, I think, that way. And then you've got a different neck, I believe. So that would, that's the other body for the Beast Boss. So that's the main difference, that neck area. You've got the fur-lined kind of cloak. You've got this beast chopper weapon. You've got this Beast Boss icon that goes on his back. You've got the slugger. You've got his head with a metal mohawk, and you've got this shoulder pauldron. I'm missing the iron jaw. I'm not quite sure where that's disappeared to, but it's around here somewhere. Also, there's this kind of valve lever that goes on, you know, the other neck. You don't have to put the iron jaw on, which is quite cool, you know, if you wanted to run it that way. But they're the spare parts. Not quite sure what you could use them with, because they're kind of molded to that miniature. Likewise, with this wrist, I'm sure you could probably modify it, but this you definitely can use on a vehicle or something. That would be quite cool. But there you go. So you do get a few spare parts, but not that many, and I do question how useful they are. Size comparisons then. Well, I'd like to show you the size comparisons with the Beast Boss on Squigosaur first of all. So this is the alternative build for Mozrog. As you can see, the Beast Boss does have more of a presence. Both the Squigosaur is rearing up, he's got his head up in a different position, and that Beast Chopper certainly gives him more presence too, whereas Mozrog is kind of like in a lower position. It would have been cool to have to swap them, to have Mozrog on that Squigosaur. However, you know, it is possible you could do it, but I would question how the thump gun kind of gets in the way of that area, and how he leans onto the onto Big Chomper, because this Big Chomper's got these spikes. I haven't seen anyone do it. There probably is a video somewhere of someone placing Mozrog on the actual Squigosaur. But likewise, I also think it's fitting that the Squigosaur is kind of roaring, or, you know, showing its fangs like it is, at the same time as the Beast Boss. But there you go. Overall, they're similar size, but the Beast Boss does look a bit bigger. Keeping on with the kind of squig theme, here is my smashing knob right here, and yeah, I mean, it's definitely gonna, you know, fit the aesthetic. These smasher squigs with the Squigosaur, you can certainly have a number of squig hogs and all the rest of it if you wanted to run them as a little narrative game. Likewise with the killer rig right here. I'll just give you an idea of the size. So yeah, I mean, of course the killer rig is huge compared to Mozrog, but suits them really well, you know. All of these like squig creatures, they work very well with each other. But that gives you an idea of how big he is next to that huge killer rig. A couple more comparisons with my knob and a mega knob right here. So if you've got a mega knob, you know how I feel, and you can see just how big Mozrog is compared to those. A Death Dread, he's probably a little, he's on a bigger base than the Death Dread, which is interesting. I always thought that the Death Dread should be on a bigger base, but the Death Dread is a tiny bit taller, but there's not much in it at all. Not much in it with the Death Dread. And Gazgul. Gazgul's actually on the same size base as Mozrog, and Mozrog is a little bit taller, but obviously nowhere near as thick. They're all the Ork size comparisons I wanted to make, but let's just show you some of the Imperial models. So I have a normal Space Marine, Slime Marbo, and a Primaris. So yes, if you're going up against Space Marines or Primaris, Mozrog is going to be standing pretty big. I don't think he's as big as a Redemptor Dreadnought, and that would be an awesome little fight I'd like to see them in. But still, if you're going against the mainly infantry sort of Imperial Space Marine army, he's going to be a fair bit bigger. And that's the one thing I'm taking away from this Ork release, is there's lots of vertical there's lots of increased verticality models, and they're a lot taller than they were before, and that's the same for Necrons as well, actually. Okay, this is my part of the review where I will go through all of Mozrog's rules. You'll of course find him in your brand new 9th edition Ork Codex, and he will be in the HQ section. Not as close to the front as I would have imagined. He's actually the very last HQ choice. Not sure why, maybe he's just so overpowered, but his power points cost is a 9, making him 1 power point cost more than a normal beast boss on Squigosaur, and his points cost is 170 points, making him 20 points more than the beast boss on Squigosaur. So what do you get for this extra 20 points? Well, his stat line is a movement of 10 inches, his weapon skill is 2+, his ballistic skill is 5+, strength 6, toughness 7, 9 wounds, 6 attacks, leadership 8, and a save of 3+. Super. How does that compare to the beast boss on Squigosaur? Well, straight away, I can tell you that he has 1 extra attack at 6 and a better save of 3+. You know, this guy is not to be overlooked with that 3+ save. It's very rare that you get orcs with saves of 3+. Typically they have 4+ or 6s, or in rare cases 2+ for anything in mega armor, but to have a orc with a 3+ save is pretty rare. So Mozrog Skragbad is equipped with a thump gun, gut ripper, big chomper's claws. Your army can only include 1 Mozrog Skragbad model. So the thump gun, which is exactly the same weapon as what the beast boss on Squigosaur is equipped with. It's a range of 18 inches, it's assault D3, strength 6, AP -1, damage D3, blast. It's a new weapon, like a grenade launcher, that is unique to beast snaggers. Big Chomper's jaws. So Big Chomper is his squig. It's a strength of 7. Big Chomper's jaws is his own Squigosaur's melee weapon. It's a strength of 7, AP -3, damage 3. Each time the bearer fights, it makes 3 additional attacks with this weapon, and no more than 3 attacks can be made. So you're just going to get 3 attacks with it. Each time an attack is made with the weapon, an unmodified wound roll of a 6 inflicts 4 mortal wounds on the target and the sequence ends. It's not out of the realms of imagination that one of these attacks of a 6 eats that person or enemy or whatever. You know, he's inflicting 4 mortal wounds. He'll gobble up some characters. But actually the scary thing about him is if he gets 3 6s, then you're looking at 12 mortal wounds. He's definitely got the potential of just gobbling up your characters, like I say. How does that compare? And then his melee weapon himself is called Gut Ripper, and it's a strength +1, so that's 7, AP -2, damage 3. That's not anything to really write home about. But the difference between Big Chomper's claws and the Squigosaur's jaws is the extra mortal wound. So the Squigosaur has 3, but Big Chomper has 4. So it's slightly better Chomper claws. So that just goes to show you how damaging just a normal Squigosaur is as well. Abilities. Beast Snagger, here we go. Wah, tougher than a rock squig. This model has a 4+ invulnerable save, so that's very decent. You've got a toughness 7 unit here with a save of 3+ and a 4+ invulnerable. So what that means is Mozrog is tougher than any of the war bosses. Only Ghazghkull has the same 4+ invulnerable save. But Ghazghkull also can only lose a maximum of 4 wounds each phase, so you're not going to be instantly killing Ghazghkull anytime soon. Thick Hide. Each time an attack is allocated to this model, subtract 1 from the damage characteristic of that attack to a minimum of 1. Again, that's brilliant. It works in conjunction with his toughness 7. Beast Boss. While a friendly Snakebite Beast Snagger Core or Snakebite Beast Snagger character unit is within 6 inches of this attack, each time a model in that unit makes a melee attack, add 1 to that attack's hit roll. So it works just as the same as any kind of war boss buff. Keywords: Orcs, Snakebite, Character, Cavalry, Squig, War Boss, Beast Snagger, Beast Boss. Mozrog Skragbad. So there you go. He is, 20 points more than a normal Beast Boss on Squigosaur. I think that is worth it because the Gut Ripper is a better weapon, although it doesn't add an extra attack. he's getting the 6 attacks anyway. His big chomper's jaws are slightly better, you know, with 1 extra mortal wound. And he's got that 3+ save and the 4+ invulnerable. So he's like a beast boss on Squigosaur, but as you've just found out, better. And remember, he also has the, you know, snake bite. He also has that beast snagger ability, which is actually the same as the beast boss, to be fair, but there we go. What do you guys think of Mozrog Skragbad? He is my favourite model out of the whole of this new refresh. A close second is that war boss in Mega Armor. It's the model that I was looking forward to the most out of all of these, and I'm pleased to have him in my Ork army. But what do you guys think of the model, of the rules? Please do put your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. For Gork and Morg.